The first thing we'll do is to make the wings look like actual wings. So they don't look really like wings right now. So let's make them look a little better. So first let's select this wing right here. Select that face, and we'll use the translate tool to click and drag it backwards, because wings are usually slanted backwards like that. So we'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. In fact, one trick is to select both of them, and then we can move them both back at the same time so they're the same distance away. So one is selected. If I hold down Shift and right click this one, then both of those are selected. And the translate tool goes into the middle, click and drag back, and then I can do them both at the same time, and they will have the same angles on them. So that's a good way to do it. The next thing is to make the wings pointed at the ends, a little more pointed. So the way we do that is to select just one side of this face, which are the vertices. So we'll select these two vertices. So if I hit A on my keyboard, it deselects everything. Now I don't want to select the face, I want to select the vertices. So if I do a B on the keyboard, the border select, and just click and drag, then I will select those two, and I want to select the other ones as well to make them the same. So I just click B again and select those two vertices. So I've got both of them selected on both sides, and I will drag those back with the translate tool and make it to about right there. So not to a perfect point. So there's a little flat edge, but that looks a lot better. Looks like wings now. Now that we know how to fix the wings, we can fix the back wings also, the tail wings or fins. So hit an A on the keyboard to deselect, and we will select the vertices on these wings now. So click, hit the B key, click and drag and grab those two. We'll go over to the other side and click B on the keyboard and select those. So we've got all of those selected, and we'll drag those back to about there. That looks pretty good. Now the tail fin, let's get that and move it back. So if I hit A again and then B and select these two vertices and drag that back, and that looks a little better already. Now if I want that to be flatter, I will select the two back here, hit B, and select the two and drag them up, so then it's flat on top. That looks a little better. Okay, so we're looking a little better, a little bit more like an airplane. Let's do one other thing to make it look more like an airplane up front rather than a pencil. So on the front here, I'm going to loop, cut, and slide a couple more times here, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So get loop, cut, and slide, click it, and then drag it to, we're going to put this in about three different, cut this into three different sections. So I'll do a third up here, I'll get another one, click and drag about a third down here. So there's three different sections. Now what I want to do is make this a gradual, instead of a steep slope here from the body of the airplane to the tip, the nose, we want to make it more gradual. So what we're going to do is select different sections and change the angle a little bit. So let's learn a couple things about selecting. If I deselect everything with the A on the keyboard, now there's another type of select, which is the C key. If I hit C, it's called the circle select, and I can select, just click and drag everything in a circle, and I want to select the ones in the middle too. Now those are a little bit harder to select sometimes. If I hit escape, and it gets out of the circle select tool. So scroll in. Now another trick is to make it a wireframe, and it will select everything because it's only selected a few things on that nose cone. So click on your keyboard Z, and it changes the whole thing to a wireframe, and that allows us to see a lot more and select things a little easier. So that way, if now I hit the B key and just select that middle nose cone, it gets everything now in that view. Uh-oh, looks like we got a couple selections on the bottom too. How did that happen? Control Z. Anything that's in view of it, it will select. And so that was the problem. It was in view. So I'm going to put it on the side, get my B, click B again, and select the nose, and then it will just select those. Okay, so I've got all that selected, everything but that top loop. Now what I'm going to do, I'll click Z again to get out of the wireframe view, and that makes it a little, looks a little better. So what I want to do is grab this translate tool, and I'm going to drag those sections back a little bit, or forward, but I'm going to go back, let's see, let's try forward. So this decreases or increases the angle of that first piece coming off the main body. So I want it to be less of an angle, so I'm going to go out just a little bit. Okay, and so now that angle is a little less steep, and that's what I want. Okay, now I want to deselect this loop here. So I've only got this loop here and the cone, and so I'm going to deselect some of it. So to do that, I'm going to grab my my circle select. Whoops, wrong one, not B, but C. If I click C, I've got that circle select, and if I hold down Shift, anything that I select will deselect, or then anything that was selected will deselect. So I'm just going to go around the circle and deselect that loop there, and then I hit Escape to get rid of the circle select tool. Go back out to the side and grab my translate tool and drag that out or in. I want to make that come angled down a little bit more, so I'm going to drag it in. Okay, and then I'm going to deselect some more, and so I just have the nose selected, so grab my C, select, circle select, and if you use the mouse scroll, that gets bigger and smaller, so I want it a little smaller to be more precise on what I'm clicking. Hold down the Shift and deselect that outer edge, so I've just got the nose selected. Hit Escape, go back, and I'm going to drag that in so it's a little, okay, so we have a different angle now. It slopes down a little further, so now it's not so steep and doesn't look like a pencil. If I hit A, it deselects everything, and that looks a little better, a little bit more like an airplane. Okay, so we've got the wings looking better, and the nose cone looking much better.